Welcome back to the Climb the Pocket YouTube page. My name is Steve, and I'm with Ryan McGinley. As always, you can find him at Bootleg Fantasy on Twitter. Find me at Steve 2.0. We got a really fun mock draft for you guys today. Our second mock draft together. This will be a really good update from the last mock draft that we done, and it'll kind of, if we moved anyone up our rankings and whatnot, it will really reflect that in this mock draft. We'll go over some different strategies. We're going to randomize the draft order, so we'll both be picking from hopefully completely different spots in the draft, so we can really give you a perspective on what it's like to pick in different positions. But as always, go find us at our website, climbthepocket.com, on Twitter at climbthepocket. We got tons of stuff going on there, lots of polls, lots of posting, a lot of articles. Go find those articles on our website. I think that's the max plug right there. Ryan, what's going on today?
That was beautiful, Steve. You never miss a beat when we do these things every single week. Record on Tuesday or Wednesday, post on Thursday. I'm excited to get into it. We're trying to condense the content a little bit, make it quicker hitting. So hopefully we get that done this week. And hopefully my team is better than the last mock draft we did. I did not like it. I think I drafted from the 6th spot after most of the studs were gone. So that was my major issue. So I'm hoping I get a better pick than 6. I didn't like that at all. And, I'm ready to get into it, Steve.
Yeah, we'll see. Like we said, it's random. We got a half PPR draft. The rosters will be one quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, a tight end, 1 flex, and then 5 bench. No kicker defense because no one wants to hear that stuff. So let's go ahead and get into the draft. I don't think we're going to have a timer on this, so we'll have some time to talk about our picks and what happened before. So let's go ahead and look at the draft board, see where we got in. Looks like we're back to back, 7 and 8. So that should be pretty fun. We don't really get to show different ends of the draft, but hey, it's going to be fun sniping you. It's going to be fun having you snipe me. So let's go ahead and start the draft. All right, so the draft starts. Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley, Ezekiel Elliott, Michael Thomas, Dalvin Cook, Alvin Kamara. I think that's how it goes in almost every fantasy football draft. The first 6, arguably number 7 kind of sucks, but it doesn't suck for me because I'm actually higher on Derrick Henry than I was before, especially with everything that's going on with Dalvin Cook. I guess we can take a second to talk about that. I do think Dalvin Cook ends up getting a deal done just based on the language that he was speaking out to the public and whatnot, saying that they'd be willing to settle on somewhere around $13 million, which isn't the highest paid running back in the league like Christian McCaffrey. So that is good news that it seems like they're willing to negotiate. So what seemed like a lot of risk of, a week ago when it first came out or a week and a half ago, seems like it, as the offseason goes on, it could maybe, squander a little bit and be, he'll be moving back up. But I wouldn't be surprised if you can get him here at 107. So I'm going to go ahead and do what I said and draft Derrick Henry. I really like to hammer the running back position early because they go off really early in the first 2 rounds.
You see, Steve, I was hoping you would go homer pick with your boy Devontae Adams because I love Derrick Henry this year. Devontae Adams is going to get peppered a lot, and I'm very interested to see. I guess how defense is playing. You guys have Devin Funchess.
Devin.
I think that's it in Green Bay. So I don't want to take Devontae. Like having a running back in the first round makes me feel a lot better. But I've thought this a lot where I've had a pick in this area where I've got to pick between Joe Mixon and one of the top wide receivers. And now that I'm looking at it, I feel like I want to go Devontae. You know what? Let's go wide receiver heavy because everyone's showing.
All right.
Everyone's showing those drafts where it's running back heavy, which I suggest. But sometimes things don't go your way, and you might have to go with a ton of wide receivers. So let's see what we have here.
Yeah, out of the first 16 picks, only 5 receivers go. That's not horribly, out of the norm. But you're up again. You took a wide receiver. Are you going to continue to go wide receiver heavy? Some of the best wide receivers left are Chris Godwin, Galladay. Are you really going to pass on a guy like Chubb or Aaron Jones here?
Aaron Jones scares me. I think we both know that it's going to be tough for him to have the touchdown efficiency he had last year. Chris Godwin's an interesting pick. Nick Chubb, I like a lot. I think the issue with Chubb last year was their offense, and they're switching it up, and Kareem Hunt's there. You know what? We're not going to go – let's not go running back at all. I'm going to go with Chris Godwin again, another wide receiver. I'm going to see how the team shakes out because every strategy this offseason has seemingly been take running backs high, and we're trying to learn here, Steve. We're not trying to put out the same stuff that everyone puts out. We're going to learn something here.
I mean, I agree, but you can handle that half of the video by going wide receiver heavy, and I'll go ahead and do what
That's
I
fair.
would do. And I'm going to take Nick Chubb. Obviously, the thing with Nick Chubb, like you just
Yep.
mentioned, is Kareem Hunt. I've mentioned it in our rankings videos, how I am concerned about him and whatnot. Uh, Man, if Nick Chubb was just had no competition, he'd probably be a top 4 pick in fantasy football.
Yeah.
Like, he is just that talented. I'm going to go off talent here. I'm going to take Nick Chubb and anchor my running backs. Now, in a full PPR league, I probably wouldn't start the strategy because these two running backs that I have,
Yeah.
Derrick Henry and Nick Chubb, probably aren't going to catch too many passes at all. But I'm going off of just pure upside and the talent alone. I really like that start. I'm probably good at running back for right now. I do like to start 3 running backs sometimes, but this scenario where Leonard Fournette, Todd Gurley, Chris Carson, it's not really someone I'm willing to take right here. I'll probably look at the wide receiver position. Guys I'm considering, DJ Moore, Cooper
Hmm.
Kupp in the 3rd round feels early, but I think I'm going to go with DJ Moore. He's a guy like I just like have extreme like high hopes for that his full talent potential can show on the field, and with an improved quarterback, I really hope that he can find the end zone more than he did last year. He had a pretty big breakout season last year, but I think the sky's the limit. I think he can definitely improve on what he did last year, especially like I said in the touchdown department. So we'll anchor DJ Moore as our wide receiver 1. He's going to get plenty of catches, so definitely not mad with that.
So you taking DJ Moore leaves two interesting running backs on the board for me, Steve. Um, these are the guys that were first round picks the last couple years. I mean, Todd Gurley's there, Leonard Fournette's there. I don't need a wide receiver because I've got two great ones. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like Chris Carson and Melvin Gordon and Lev Bell, James Conner. That's where it feels like a big teardrop to me. Honestly, I think this is completely against what I usually go with. I've preached running backs heavy, and I've kind of preached against Leonard Fournette. Uh, but I think Leonard Fournette has to be the play here for me. He had more yards last year than Dalvin Cook. Their offense is going to be balanced better. He had 100 targets last year. I don't expect that to be the same number. I expect 60 to 70. I think Chris Thompson takes some. But Leonard Fournette's one of those guys that's a volume guy. And if you go wide receiver heavy, you better get somebody that's a volume guy at running back because, I mean, they're just consistent points. So, Fournette's going to touch the ball 20 times a game. I'm drafting Leonard Fournette,
No,
and I'm not thrilled about it.
No, I don't mind the move. I would have considered him at my pick just because, like what you
Yep.
just said, he's one of the last like workhorses, known
Yep.
workhorses. I mean, Todd Gurley, Melvin Gordon, David Johnson all have some sort of question around them. Leonard Fournette got through a full season last year, not injured, so that's a good sign. And you don't really think that they would go any other way than continue to feed him the ball. I don't know why they wouldn't, and he got way more involved in the passing game. There's
Mhm.
some upside for him there, and I think he can improve on the touchdown department, just like an Alvin Kamara or something like that. I think that's a fine pick as your RB1 in the 3rd round.
Yeah. So now I'm looking at a couple different interesting options. I've got Calvin Ridley, who's supposed to be. This is going to be his next step. He's going to be Julio's 1A according to most of fantasy Twitter. And then there's Robert Woods, Cortland Sutton, Keenan Allen, and Devontae Parker. There's a lot of good wide receivers in this area. If I go wide receiver heavy the first couple rounds, and then I get a guy like Leonard Fournette, I might take a risk here. And my risk here, I think I go Jonathan Taylor.
Ooh, I knew you were gonna say it. I
I
was
think I
looking
go
at him.
Jonathan Taylor because he could be a wild card. The rest of my team is a pretty consistent team. I know that I'll get points out of them week in and week out because I mean I've got volume guys catching passes. I got Fournette getting 20 touches, so I can kind of take a risk here and take Jonathan Taylor and hope that it doesn't backfire. So now you got an interesting move here, Steve.
I do have an interesting move, and I'm debating whether I grab another running back and don't think about it till like round 8, which I prefer because I like a lot of the wide receivers in the next tier, like Devontae Parker, Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, Terry McLaurin. Like these are all guys like I would love to have as my wide receiver 2 or my flex. So like who here what RBs here are, where does the tier break? I think the tier breaks at arguably Le'Veon Bell, maybe Mark Ingram. I'm higher on Mark Ingram than other people are because I think that, while he's not a good dynasty asset at this point in a startup or anything like that, he's still going to be good for redraft. He's on one of the best offenses in the league, and he was really good last year. As far, he had 15 touchdowns. Maybe those come down to somewhere around 10. But, and they do have a lot of running backs in the mix. But just being tied to that offense, he doesn't need a billion touches to make it work because they're going to continue to move up the field. Sure. And when they get near the goal line, Mark Ingram's going to be the guy. So, I like Mark Ingram, but I'm actually going to go with Chris Carson, who I had on a lot of teams last year and receives a lot of the carries. And Carlos Hyde comes in, but he's just a complimentary guy. If you ask me, I think Chris Carson catches more passes than Carlos Hyde. So I think the team believes in him. As long as he can stay healthy and Rashad Penny stays off the field a little too long, which I don't want for his health. I want him to come back and play football. Mm-hmm. But for fantasy football, I want him to stay off the field as long as possible because we saw what happened when Rashad Penny started to boost up at the end of last year. He was starting to almost be a better looking player than Chris Carson, which, can be scary if you own Chris Carson. But I'm going to take Chris Carson right now, and I'm not going to think about running back for a few more rounds. So we'll see what comes off the board after James Conner, Le'Veon Bell. Not surprised. I was considering Robert Woods because I am so high on him this year. I like that passing offense. I think they're going to always pass there with Jared Goff. I think he improves this year. Brandon Cooks is gone. Cooper Kupp, I'm high on. I like that passing attack this year, and I think Robert Woods could be the forefront of it, so I was considering him. But a lot of players go off the board, and Mark Ingram's still on the board. When we look at the wide receivers, I should probably grab another one. Like I said, I'm good at running back for right now. But unfortunately, a lot of the players that I did want came off the board. Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, Terry McLaurin, all the guys I mentioned came off the board. So it's an interesting decision here as far as who I'm going to go with. And like you took a chance earlier, I think I'm going to take a chance here and go with the newly acquired Buffalo Bill, Stephon Diggs for Jonathan or for Josh Allen. I'm not high on Stephon Diggs, and I think most of fantasy Twitter and fantasy analysts are not because we don't know. But Stephon Diggs is a downfield threat, and Josh Allen likes to sling the ball. And maybe his accuracy isn't so well, but Josh Allen is still developing in this league, and if for whatever reason he takes a decent step this year in the offseason and does improve on his accuracy, I like Stephon Diggs, and I think he's going to be his top red zone target. Obviously, Josh Allen is going to vulture stuff on the ground, but I like Stephon Diggs. I'll take the chance here. I like the name value, so having him on my team right here is not too bad.
I'm not going to lie. That's who I was going to take.
Sniped.
Did not take him, and the first time you've done it, it hurts.
You took him last time in the mock draft, I think.
I know. He's one of my boys. I mean, when you have a championship team, you tend to go back to your boys, and he was on my team last year. And I know all of a sudden he could have a 9 for 150 and 2 touchdown game, and you're like, this was the greatest pick of my life. So it's tough to see him go to you a pick before where I would have taken him. But I've been preaching consistency. I've been preaching one wide receiver against the grain more than most people have been preaching him. He's been consistent.
There he is.
He's got the 5th easiest strength of schedule. He's wide receiver 29, but he hasn't finished below wide receiver 22 his entire career, Steve.
Just draft him.
The offense is efficient. We're talking Jarvis Landry. I mean, if people have seen our wide receiver video, the Juice is my boy. He's somebody that gets slept on. I mean, he's a consistent top 15 finishing wide receiver, and he's not treated that way. And honestly, I almost take it personal. He's efficient. He's my 3rd wide receiver, and I like the team that I've built so far. And now I'm looking at drafting somebody that may come off the bench for me. I mean, I don't have to, but it's going to make my team feel... Actually, I have a flex, don't I?
You do.
I have a flex. And there's a very... I'm not a big running back take a chance guy usually, but in this mock draft, I'm going for it. And Raheem Mostert is on the board.
Knew it.
And he's going to be on my team. Ex-Philadelphia Eagle. And he's kind of been the talk of the town. He's been a touchdown-efficient scoring machine in his limited time. I don't think that San Fran's going to go away from him, and they kind of ride the hot hand there. So there's going to be some weeks where Mostert kills you. There's also going to be some weeks where Mostert looks like a running back one. So I like Mostert a lot this year.
Yeah, I like him, and that's an interesting fact. I did not know he was a Philadelphia Eagle,
Yep.
and I know he's been in this league longer than most people know, and that's
Yep.
just facts now. Whoever watches this video will know he was an Eagle. So now that I'm up, I have three running backs, two wide receivers. I would like to just take the best player on my board right now. I would consider quarterback, but I like some of the quarterbacks a little later. Carson Wentz ranked as the 10th quarterback on Fantasy Pros. I feel like I can get him at a good value. I like Matt Stafford.
You
Um,
think you're getting Carson Wentz at a good value? You're nuts, sir.
I'm
There's no way.
I'm just
You're not getting
saying.
Wentz
I'm
at a
saying
value.
compared to the guys that are on there right
Yeah.
now, I like. I would love to have Kyler. I would
Yep.
love to have Russell Wilson. But I don't. But right here, am I missing out on anyone? Devin Singletary, I'm gonna shy away from. Cam Akers is a guy I might take a chance on as my fourth running back in that offense in LA. We don't know who the guy's going to be, but they drafted him pretty early.
Yep.
I like that pick. And when it comes to the wide receivers on the board, I don't know if there's anyone here that I feel too good about. Tyler Boyd, maybe. I like Marquise Brown this year. Maybe he'll slip back to me. Probably not. It does get pretty thin after these guys though in the wide receiver department. So I think I'm gonna take Tyler Boyd.
I
Don't
don't
know
hate
why.
that.
It's another chance because we don't know exactly what Joe Burrow is gonna do. But Tyler he's brought it the last couple of years. He definitely has. AJ Green's been off the field. I'm gonna take my shot that AJ Green once again troubles with injury throughout the year. A lot of people are kind of high on him. I refuse to bite into that apple this year about AJ Green. I avoid him the last couple of years, and it pays off because he gets injured every year. So I'm not biting that. A lot of the tight ends went off the board. Unfortunately, I was kind of targeting like a Tyler Higbee type of guy.
Hmm.
If Evan Ingram slipped, that would have been nice. But I'm back on the board, and let's see. Yep, Cam Akers went. So right now the draft gets slightly thin.
Yep.
Wide receivers I like Marvin Jones. Don't really like a lot of these other guys. Will Fuller's always got that great upside. I think I'm going to go with the running back because I went with the wide receiver last time. It's between Sony Michel, Keyshawn Vaughn because I didn't get Cam Akers, and I kind of like that rookie upside, that little chance. I think I'm going to go with Sony Michel. And
Oof.
yeah, oh man.
Whew.
I could still not hit it, but I'm going to hit it. I don't want any New England players, but I did draft Sony Michel. I'm afraid of that offense and the way they move up the field. I think
Yeah.
Sony Michel is going to be the guy who they go to, but can they continue to move? Drafting fantasy players in bad offenses is not the strategy, but I do see him as the RB1 on his team and take my chances on that. Not much more analysis.
So here's something that's going to be interesting, Steve. I think that there's going to be a lot of fantasy leagues that end up having more IR slots than they usually have, right? I think this year there will be more spots in case of coronavirus, right? But that doesn't mean they're coronavirus IR slots, you know? So I'm going to hope and pray that this man stays healthy and is the
Oh,
wide receiver one for Houston. It's got to be Will Fuller. I
yep.
mean, Will Fuller when he plays is a beast. Uh, keyword, key phrase when he plays.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how, I can't. I'm not gonna trust him for more than 10 games, right? If I get more than 10 games out of Will Fuller, he's a steal. If I get 10 games out of Will Fuller, that's about right. If I get less, that's just bad luck. And I think that there's some merit to thinking that there's going to be more IR slots in most leagues, and if you can stash Will Fuller if he has 6 hamstring injuries this year, and he gives you 3 or 4 elite games, you feel pretty good. But now I've got to go into the depths of the kind of sad running back pool at this point. When you don't draft heavy running back, it gets tough. But there's 2 guys that are splitting a backfield that I'm looking at. One's Jordan Howard, one's Matt Breida. And I think I'm going with Breida, honestly.
Ooh.
I think Matt Breida is the play this year. I mean, he's another guy that gets banged up. I understand my team might not make it a full 16 this year. But Matt Breida is going to be the Miles Sanders to last year's Jordan Howard. I mean, he's a better pass catching back. He's quicker. Jordan Howard might be in when they're up in games in Miami. Uh, I don't think Jordan Howard's as good a pass blocker as Breida. Um, he wasn't great in Philly at it. He was fine, but he had a neck injury last year where it cost him a decent amount of time. So I think it's Matt Breida's backfield there. So I feel good about taking Breida there.
That's a tough one to understand. I've seen a lot of people lean Jordan Howard.
Yeah.
I think the Dolphins would be better than they have been in the
Yeah.
last couple of years, but it's a risk. But it's round 8, and this is where you take
Yep.
risks. If he's the RB1 on his team, you're going to be rewarded. So I'm going to draft Carson Wentz here because he's the guy I mentioned earlier.
You're sick.
I don't think he wouldn't fall back to us anyway. I don't really think he would. I'm going to take Carson Wentz here. I think it's a good time to draft a quarterback, especially with Carson Wentz's upside. We saw what he did a few years ago. Possible MVP candidate, had a good season going, and hey, maybe he would have slipped. Who knows? Team 3 takes Aaron Rodgers. Jordan Howard goes right before that. I would have considered taking the other guy on the Dolphins right there, but now we're looking just skill player. I'm probably not going to draft a tight end this round, maybe the next round around. Guys I'm considering in the RB position, maybe no one. Like, is it like handcuff season yet? Maybe I like Zach Moss. I kind of like the chance there. I'm not on Devin Singletary. I do like Zach Moss, but don't really want a part of that offense besides what I already have. I think I'm going to go with Anthony Miller. I like Anthony Miller. He had a good season last year, and I think his full potential has not completely come out yet. He had a stretch last year towards the second half of the season where he had a couple pretty big games, and I think a lot of people saw what the Bears drafted, and it takes a few years for it to develop, and I think he's there. I think him and Allen Robinson are going to be a great duo.
Well, since I'm now the last person to have a quarterback, I'm still not going to take one.
Hey, you can wait.
I'm not taking one. Because if you take a backup quarterback before this, I guess pretty much the last round before kickers and defense, you're wasting a pick because you're going to cut him eventually. That's just how I think. And there's 6 quarterbacks left that I could be fine with. So I'm not touching any of those guys. I've got 5 running backs and 4 wide receivers. I like having an even split pretty much. And the guys on the board are interesting at wide receiver. I mean, I don't love them. I think Judy is interesting. I think Judy has more upside than Mike Williams this year, but I don't love it. Sterling Shepard's on the board. Robbie Anderson's on the board. A lot of guys on bad teams. I think if I had to, take a wild stab at wide receiver on just upside alone, I think of the guys that are available, I don't love this pick, but I think his upside's the highest. I'm taking Henry Ruggs, just because he's the only guy there. Derek Carr is good at throwing slants, and Henry Ruggs is really fast. That's pretty much that's my only thought. I don't like Mike Williams at all this year. Judy should be the wide receiver 1B eventually. Don't know if he gets there early enough for my liking. So yeah, Sterling Shepard is kind of an injury issue, but I'm back up. Funny thing is, I need a tight end as well.
Oh, don't do it.
Yeah, Gronk is there. Austin Hooper's there. That's pretty cool. Mike Gesicki's there. But I don't think any of those guys were the tight ends that you were targeting. And I think the tight end that you would personally want is a long-haired redhead that's now down in Atlanta. And that's who I'm going to take.
You're kidding me.
I'm taking Hayden.
I was like, oh man, he skipped over him. And damn, that's pure content right there. That's gold. Because my face is showing on video, my reaction.
Listen, you stole my redhead. I'm going to take your
redhead. That's crazy. I was about to get real excited and be like, boom, breakout fantasy tight end of the year. Let's go. And just completely sniped. Man, I guess that's the fun of this, but.
Listen, Steve. This isn't my first show with you. I know where you're going.
I don't.
Hayden Hurst, he's the same body type as Austin Hooper. Matt Ryan's been raving about him. Said
Oh,
he's the most athletic tight end he's played with,
it
and
hurts.
he's been like what throwing him passes on Zoom, like, and he's already saying stuff about him. Yeah, it's Hayden Hurst season. I'm
Yeah,
excited about it, and that's rough. That now you've got to pick between I don't know, not great tight ends.
I'm not
It's
taking a
fun.
tight end right now. I'm waiting again because he was my guy and now he's not. Um, Man, imagine what Preston Williams would be ranked if he didn't tear his
Yep,
ACL. He'd be up there because he definitely showed out last
yep.
year. Him and Devontae Parker were putting on a show. Um, Maybe take a shot on Jerry Judy. Sterling Shepard's not very attractive. Golden Tate. Golden Tate could be a
See,
sneaky guy.
he could be, but
Could
you got
be.
Darius Slayton, they got Sterling Shepard, they got Evan Ingram, Deion Lewis just signed there, Saquon
I'm taking
Barkley.
Golden Tate. This is a horrible pick. I'm taking him. I'm taking Golden Tate. I like his PPR value, and I think
Yep.
Daniel Jones gets better. I think the offense is pretty good. I think Darius Slayton's more of a downfield guy. Golden Tate's going to be involved in the offense no matter what. So I like that pick. A lot of running backs went off the board. A lot of guys I was
Yep.
considering, of course. So now the running back pool is really thin. I only have what 4 running backs, so I could use another one. Could look at the tight end position. Man, this I've talked down the. I'm waiting on tight end. I'm just taking a flyer. I'm not taking Austin Hooper here. I like Mike Gesicki, Noah Fant, but I think they last another round. Taking a shot. Oh man, Jerry Judy. It's between Jerry Judy and man, everyone is so bad, or just their situation sucks. Man, I'm gonna be horrible at running back. I'm taking Jerry Judy. Not
It's
much
fine.
analysis there.
It's
Man, look at
fine.
all those running backs that went up before. I would love to have like
I
Duke
know.
Johnson or Zach Moss or someone. AP, maybe. Who knows?
So there was something sneaky that happened last year that should have, uh, you know, come to fruition, but ended due to injury. And that was the Matt Stafford redemption arc tour. He was on pace for 5,000 yards and almost 40 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. And you got another year of Kenny Galladay getting better. Their offense is stronger. They added DeAndre Swift. Marvin Jones is a sneaky play. They added what's it? The tight end, Bryant. I'm blanking on his first name. The undrafted rookie,
Harrison Bryant?
Harrison Bryant. There we go. They added him to pair with Hawkinson. Their offense is going to be high flying. Carry on. Hopefully he's back. But Matt Stafford is a solid top 10 quarterback play to me. And like I see Tom Brady on the board as well. But Matt Stafford's a play for me. I love Matt Stafford. He was on my fantasy team last year after I took I took Baker Mayfield, and I ended up having to pick up a quarterback because Baker was so trash. Matt Stafford was my guy. He got hurt and forced me to trade for Dak. I mean, I would have been completely cool with
He would have
riding Matt Stafford
he
to a
would have been the
championship.
pickup of the year.
He really was unbelievable, and
Yeah.
I don't think people are realizing how good he is.
hmm
Phew, there's a couple running backs here, Steve, that are more just heartbreakers towards you.
Oh,
So the Chase Edmonds, does he steal snaps from Kenyon Drake? I don't know. No idea. He looked good, not great when he was playing. AJ Dillon, does he steal snaps from Aaron Jones? The pictures of him working out were very scary. I don't know if that translates completely to actual football. Dude, the running backs, they're bad.
yeah, this is
It,
tough. This is pure handcuff game. Like, who's going to get injured and back him up? Like,
yeah. So I'm looking at pretty much strictly backups.
you can go to Chris
Malcolm
Thompson
Brown.
down there.
I know he's staring me in the face, and I'm thinking about it. Um, but you know what? This, this might hurt you a little bit.
Just do it.
I'm taking Damian Harris.
Ooh. Oh.
I don't like Sony Michelle. He's
Yeah, me neither.
inefficient.
He's on my team. I don't like him either.
He's inefficient at best. Um, I think Damian Harris, if he has a good camp, can win it. Like I know he had what I think 2 carries last year, but that entire team is just going to be something. I don't know what that team's going to be.
hmm
Brady's not orchestrating the entire offense. So who knows if Damian Harris was a Tom Brady special of not getting in. So we'll take a flyer this way. Who knows?
All right, I've got like 4 guys I want, and I'm hoping they all fall to me at my next picks. So I'm going with AJ Dillon, like you mentioned,
Yeah.
strictly because I like the Packers offense, and if they're good and get in the red zone a lot, I think him and Aaron Jones can share a lot of carries. Hopefully not as much as I want because I do want Aaron Jones to get the ball a lot. I think he's really good, and I think he helps the team out a lot. But he's actually a really good pass catcher, and they could use him a lot in a lot of different ways. In that way, not saying a third down back, but I think they can mix in AJ Dillon, kind of similar to what the Browns do with Kareem Hunt, as far as like they keep these guys on the field a lot and use both of them to their skill level. So I like that strategy. Now I'm gonna go. Oh man, one of my pick already went. I was gonna take Jalen Reagor if he came down. I'm growing on him, and I have Carson Wentz. I think he can end up being one of his top targets, so I am high on him. And the tight end I'm targeting, you already took a tight end, but I am targeting Jack Doyle because I do like Jack Doyle. They see, do I take him before Noah Fant, Mike Gesicki, Austin Hooper? Definitely, I don't want Austin Hooper, but I like Jack Doyle. Like, Philip Rivers loves to throw to the tight end, and like, who else is there? And Jack Doyle's good. Like, he's proven he can be a good fantasy asset and a good NFL player. And like, why is he number 18? I don't know.
Yeah.
I think he just missed out of our top 12. I think he was like number 14, but that's because there's so many good guys before him. But now I'm going to go with, man, I mean, I need a running back. I have, who are my running backs? I just got a running back, AJ Dillon, Sony Michel. Man, my bench running backs are bad. If I get an injury up on the top of my starting roster, it ain't going to be pretty. Ooh, man, we're taking shots here.
3, 4, 5, 2.
I'm just going to do it. I don't know who to pick, so I'm just going to take Jack Doyle. I know he wouldn't get drafted, but here we go.
That's fair.
Yeah,
So, I'm a big flyer guy at the end of the draft. I like taking guys that I think are either going to hit or allow me to cut somebody for somebody that's already hitting. You know what I mean? So when I look at the board currently, I'm looking for somebody that seems interesting enough to me for me to be like, you know what, they might be decent. I'm going Russell Gage. Russell Gage, when the offense was depleted last year, Russell Gage was targeted, I think, 13 times in the last game and then maybe 10 the week before. He saw a ton of targets. I think Russell Gage is definitely an interesting play. If he doesn't hit, I cut him week 3. You know, like, you're not keeping guys most of the time that you draft in the last couple of rounds. Like, you're not hitting on everything. So you take chances. Take chances with guys that you think are high upside guys that might get cut in camps. So, like, take guys that you think you can believe in, so you're not sitting there week 12 being like, that was my guy, I should have taken him, and I didn't even put $1 on him in Fab. So
yeah. Fantasy Pros gave me a B. Doesn't really mean anything, but kind of hits at home.
C.
You got to see. Yeah. Hey, I think they go strictly off of if you draft the guys they want you to. But your team looks solid in the wide receiver department. I mean, super solid. You're lacking at running back if Jonathan Taylor doesn't turn out to be who you think he's going to be, because your next guys up are Matt Breida, who also has a contingency on him being the guy you need him to be, and then Damian Harris.
I got Mostert in the flex.
Yeah.
I don't love.
You're right. You do have Raheem Mostert.
I don't love flexing wide receivers, but
no.
if I've got to play 4 wide receivers, so be it with this team. I went wide receiver heavy, so that's kind of what I afforded.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't hate the team, but we're doing this to grow, Steve. That's the point.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm not that big a fan of my team after like round 5 or maybe 6. So, I mean, this is why you do these things. You got to mock draft if you want your team to be, who you want it to be when it comes draft day, because you got to know where guys are going and whatnot. I think even from the last time we did a mock draft, the ADPs have changed, not dramatically, but enough to notice that I don't have the same type of team I have, because either guys are moving up or moving down, or you really got to examine the whole draft board. But hey, that's our mock draft. You can check out our our rosters right here. We only did we only had 5 bench guys, and we're not. Sometimes we go a little deeper, but that's all you really need. is what we did today. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like I said before at the beginning of the video, go check out our website, Climb the Pocket. And if you really like this content on YouTube and want to keep seeing it, we really appreciate a subscribe, like this video. It helps our video get on, on other people's recommended videos and whatnot. And comment below. We love to answer all your questions about
100%.
draft, dynasty, whatever. Me and Ryan will definitely take a look at it and we'll answer it for sure. Go follow us on Twitter at Bootleg Fantasy, at Steve 2.0, or the Climb the Pocket account at Climb the Pocket. And until next time, see ya.